Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out here for you. We're going to be talking about Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, today. So he's currently arrived in North Korea. He announced several weeks back he was going to be making a state visit to Pyongyang, North Korea's capital, to meet with Kim Jong-un, okay, the North Korean leader. So this is actually the first time he has visited here in 24 years. I think the last time he was here, it was in 2000. We've got video footage as well of the roads here in Pyongyang covered in Russian flags all over the place. Pictures of Vladimir Putin to welcome him here. So this obviously shows the great deepening ties here between Russia and North Korea. So they're going to be discussing lots of big things here, lots of partnership goals, and trying to deepen their ties with each other. We've also got some reports as well that we're going to go over that looks like Russia and North Korea are going to be signing a strategic partnership treaty. So this is very big news. And at the same time, just a few days ago, we had lots of reports coming out from South Korea that supposedly North Korea was sending a bunch of arms shipments to Russia again. Apparently they were sending like 11,000 containers full of artillery shells, and we were hearing ballistic missiles were heading over to Russia as well, obviously to fuel this war in Ukraine. So again, we can see here that these two countries are definitely working heavily together, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So first, I want to go over some information with you. Let's talk about this on Reuters. Putin vows to support North Korea against the United States. This just came out today. So here's a picture of them two in Pyongyang while Russian President Vladimir Putin is visiting. And it says here, Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed on Tuesday to deepen trade and security ties with North Korea and to support it against the United States as he headed to the reclusive nuclear-armed country for the first time in 24 years. The U.S. and its Asian allies are trying to work out just how far Russia will go in support for North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, whose country is only one to have conducted nuclear weapons tests in the 21st century. In a signal that Russia, a veto-wielding member of the United Nations Security Council, is reassessing its entire approach to North Korea, Putin praised Pyongyang for resisting what he said was U.S. economic pressure, blackmail, and threats. So something about this real quick when it comes to U.S. economic pressure, blackmail, threats, things like that. So I'm sure he's talking a lot about these sanctions too. So we know that North Korea is heavily, heavily sanctioned. They're probably the most sanctioned country in the world. But now Russia is starting to become like that as well. They're being heavily sanctioned, just like North Korea. And I think that's also why they're starting to come together and become closer allies because they resemble each other a little bit. They're both under heavy restrictions and sanctions by the West, okay, primarily the United States. So that's probably why we're seeing this. In an article published by North Korean state media, Putin praised Comrade Kim and promised to jointly resist illegitimate unilateral restrictions to develop trade and strengthen security across Eurasia. Washington, refusing to implement previously reached agreements, continuously puts forward new, increasingly stringent, and obviously unacceptable demands, Putin said in the article, printed on the front page of North Korea's Rodong Sinmun, the ruling Workers' Party mouthpiece. Russia has always supported and will continue to support the DPRK and the heroic Korean people in their opposition to the insidious, dangerous, and aggressive enemy. Putin noted the Soviet Union was the first to recognize the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the DPRK, founded by Kim's father, Kim Il-sung, less than 2 years before the 1950 Korean War. North Korean state media also published articles praising Russia and supporting its military operations in Ukraine, calling them a sacred war of all Russian citizens. Putin's state visit comes amid U.S. accusations that North Korea has supplied dozens of ballistic missiles and over 11,000 containers of munitions to Russia for use in Ukraine. South Korea, a staunch ally, a U.S. ally, has raised similar concerns. So that's what I was talking about earlier, that this just came out maybe 4 days ago, that the U.S. was accusing North Korea of supplying a bunch of missiles and more artillery ammunition, something like 1 million or more shells for Russia's war in Ukraine. So the White House said on Monday it was troubled by deepening relationship between Russia and North Korea. The U.S. State Department said it was quite certain Putin would be seeking arms to support his war in Ukraine. Moscow and Pyongyang have denied arms transfers but have vowed to boost military ties, possibly including joint drills. Russia is due to outproduce the whole NATO military alliance on ammunition production this year, so Putin's trip is likely aimed at underscoring to Washington just how disruptive Moscow can be on a host of global crises. So, more than likely, probably one of the major reasons why Vladimir Putin is visiting North Korea as well is because North Korea is already heavily sanctioned, but they've been able to supply weaponry to Russia, according to the media of the West. That's what they're stating, that they're bringing them, artillery shells, ballistic missiles. We also had some reports several months ago. I remember hearing that there was some ballistic missiles that were found, exploded ones, inside of Ukraine, and they were able to trace that back to North Korea. So supposedly these may be used in Ukraine as well. So it makes sense that Russia would go for North Korea to try to get these arms from them. And now they're obviously trying to deepen their ties and work together as a team. So I want to show you this as well. This is on RT. Russia and North Korea to sign Strategic Partnership Treaty. The Kremlin has said the agreement seeks to boost regional stability and is not directed against third countries. Russian President Vladimir Putin has approved the draft of a Strategic Partnership Treaty with North Korea, which is expected to be signed during his upcoming visit to Pyongyang. The Russian leader will begin a two-day state visit to North Korea on Tuesday, which will include a face-to-face meeting with the country's leader, Kim Jong-un, as well as talks on a wide range of issues, including security, the economy, and the international agenda. Hours before Putin's scheduled arrival in Pyongyang, Moscow released a presidential decree stating that it accepts the proposal of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the signing of comprehensive strategic partnership agreement between the Russian Federation and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The signing of the deal will take place at the highest level. The decree also allows the Russian Foreign Ministry to introduce changes to the draft agreement that are not of a fundamental nature. Putin's foreign policy aide, Yuri Ushakov, said on Monday that the treaty will supersede several agreements between the two countries dating back to the Soviet era in the early 2000s. Ushakov noted that the treaty will outline the prospects for further cooperation and will take into account recent developments in relations between Moscow and Pyongyang. The agreements, he added, will not be confrontational and directed against any countries, but will be aimed at ensuring greater stability in the Northeast Asia region. The announcement came after Putin said earlier this month that Russia intends to develop relations with North Korea, whether anyone likes it or not. In an article for the North Korean daily Rodong Sinmun published on Monday, he also said that Moscow and Pyongyang will develop alternative trade and mutual settlements, mechanisms not controlled by the West, jointly oppose illegitimate unilateral restrictions, and shape the architecture of equal and indivisible security in Eurasia. So this is very big news that they're doing this together, and this kind of reminds me of the whole BRICS thing, that BRICS is supposed to be like that. BRICS is supposed to be a separate system away from the West, free of sanctions, free of control, things like that, where countries can kind of do as they please, trade as they want, and pull away from the sanctions from the West and things like that when it comes to pressure that the United States has control to put on several countries. So clearly, what we're seeing here is Russia and North Korea working jointly together to pull away from the West and to help each other out, obviously, considering that they're both in the same situation. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you and let you know that it looks like North Korea and Russia are going to be deepening their ties and support for each other, and trade is going to continue. We'll still have to find out whether these weapons shipments are still actually happening. That's just what South Korea is claiming. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.